Clothes look great when you wear them, but not so much when they end up in the trash. Millions of old clothes pile up in landfills, adding to pollution. But did you know they can be recycled into something brand new? Stick around because you'll be surprised at how old clothes get a second life and what they're made of. What is textile recycling? Let's be real, most of us don't think twice before tossing out an old, worn-out t-shirt or a pair of jeans that no longer fit. But did you know those clothes could still have a future? That's where textile recycling comes in. It's the process of taking old clothes, breaking them down, and turning them into something useful, instead of letting them pile up in landfills. And trust me, those piles are getting out of control. Millions of tons of clothes are thrown away each year, and most of them don't just disappear. They sit there for decades, sometimes centuries, taking up space and releasing harmful chemicals into the environment. Now, you may think recycling clothes is as easy as tossing them into a bin, but there's actually a whole journey involved. First, the clothes need to be collected. This can happen through donation bins, thrift stores, or special recycling programs set up by companies and local governments. Some brands even offer discounts when you bring in old clothes for recycling. Sweet deal, right? Speaking of sweet deals, I have to mention that our channel is all about learning how things are made from scratch. So subscribe and learn something new today. So, once collected, the clothes go through sorting. This is where things get interesting. Workers and sometimes machines separate them based on material, condition, and even color. Why? Because not all clothes can be recycled the same way. Pure cotton can be turned into new cotton fibers, while polyester requires a different process. Clothes in good condition often get resold or donated, which is great for giving them a second life without breaking them down. But the ones that are too damaged, stained, or just completely out of style get sent for recycling. Now let's talk about what happens next. Some textiles are turned into industrial rags, which are used for cleaning in factories and garages. Others are shredded and turned into insulation for homes and cars. Yes, your old hoodie could one day be part of someone's attic. Some fabrics, especially cotton, can be broken down and respun into new yarn, which can then be used to make brand new clothes. It's like your t-shirt being reborn in a whole new form. Of course, not every piece of clothing makes it through this process easily. Blended fabrics, like those mixing cotton and polyester, are harder to recycle because the materials have to be separated first. And let's not forget all the zippers, buttons, and embellishments that need to be removed before recycling can even begin. That's why some recycling centers only accept certain types of clothing. Now let's be honest, it feels pretty good knowing your old jeans might turn into something useful instead of rotting away in a landfill, right? But what methods can be used to recycle old clothes? We'll tell you in a bit. Meanwhile, share this video with your friends so they'll know not to throw their old clothes away next time, as it can be recycled and put to much better use. Recycling methods, from rags to riches. Alright, so we know recycling clothes is a thing. But how exactly does it work? Well, the two main methods are mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. Sounds fancy, right? But don't worry, we'll keep it simple. First up, mechanical recycling. This is the old school method, and the most commonly used. It involves shredding fabric into tiny fibers, which are then cleaned, processed, and respun into yarn. That yarn can then be woven into new textiles and turned into clothes, upholstery, or even cleaning cloths. This method is great because it doesn't require a lot of chemicals and can be done relatively cheaply. But there's a catch. Every time fabric is shredded and respun, the fibers get shorter and weaker. This means the new fabric isn't as strong or durable as before, which is why mechanically recycled textiles are often blended with new fibers to keep them from falling apart too quickly. Now let's talk about chemical recycling. This is the high-tech, science lab version of textile recycling. Instead of just tearing fabric apart, this method breaks it down at the molecular level. The fibers are dissolved using special chemicals, leaving behind the raw material, which can then be turned into new fibers that are just as strong as virgin materials. In other words, chemical recycling makes old clothes feel brand new again. Sounds amazing, right? But there's a downside. This process is expensive, and not all fabrics can be chemically recycled just yet. Plus, some of the chemicals used can be harmful if not handled properly. But the good news is that scientists are working on making chemical recycling more efficient and eco-friendly. Aside from these two main methods, there are also some creative ways to recycle textiles. For example, some companies are developing ways to recycle polyester using bacteria that eat plastic and break it down naturally. Others are experimenting with turning old clothes into biofuel. Yes, your ripped jeans could one day help power a car. So which method is better? It depends. Mechanical recycling is cheaper and more widely used, but it weakens the fibers. Chemical recycling produces stronger materials but costs more and isn't as widely available. Ideally, a combination of both methods will help us recycle more textiles efficiently in the future. But head to the comments and tell us which textile recycling method you think is best. Challenges in textile recycling. Recycling old clothes sounds like the perfect way to save the planet, right? Just toss your worn-out jeans or that ugly sweater from last Christmas into a bin, and boom, it magically turns into a brand new outfit. Well, not so fast. The truth is, recycling textiles is way harder than it looks. And no, it's not just because people refuse to let go of their favorite hold-filled t-shirts. The real challenge lies in what those clothes are made of and how they've been treated over time. One of the biggest obstacles is blended fabrics. You may think a cotton polyester blend is just a cozy hoodie, but in the recycling world, it's a nightmare. Cotton and polyester have completely different recycling processes. Cotton can be broken down and respun into new fibers, but polyester needs a whole other method to be useful again. Separating these materials is like trying to unmix sugar from a cup of tea. The good news is that some new technologies are making progress, but it's still a long way from being perfect. Then there are the dyes and chemicals. A lot of clothes are treated with things like waterproof coatings, flame retardants, or even wrinkle-resistant chemicals. These treatments make the fabric more convenient for everyday wear, but they also make recycling much trickier. Some dyes don't break down easily, meaning they can contaminate the entire batch of recycled fibers. Others release harmful substances when processed, making the whole thing a potential environmental hazard instead of a solution. And don't even get started on fast fashion. Cheap, low-quality clothes are designed to fall apart after a few years. The fibers in these garments are often too weak to be reused, which means they usually end up in landfills anyway. Some recycling facilities try to turn them into insulation or industrial rags, but let's be honest, there's only so much insulation the world needs. If people keep buying more clothes than they can wear, recycling alone won't be enough to fix the problem. Another challenge is that people don't always recycle their clothes properly. Some of the time, clothing donation bins get stuffed with items that can't be reused or recycled, like dirty, moldy, or ripped-up garments. Some people even dump non-textile items like shoes, plastic bags, or random junk into these bins, making sorting even more complicated. If recycling facilities spend too much time filtering out trash, they have less time to actually recycle. So while recycling old clothes is a great idea, it's not as simple as it sounds. The process still has a long way to go before it becomes truly effective. In the meantime, the best thing you can do is buy better quality clothes, wear them longer, and donate responsibly. And hey, if you want to see more videos breaking down manufacturing topics like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right away. Innovations and the future of textile recycling. Now for the good news. While the challenges in textile recycling are real, there are some genius minds working hard to solve them. Scientists, engineers, and even fashion brands are teaming up to find ways to turn old clothes into something new, without all the mess and waste. If they get this right, the future of textile recycling could look a whole lot brighter. One exciting innovation, as I mentioned before, is chemical recycling. Traditional recycling just shreds fabrics into fibers, which can only be reused a couple of times before they become too weak. But chemical recycling breaks fabrics down to its most basic molecules, allowing it to be turned into brand new materials. Companies like AmberCycle are using this method to take old polyester garments and turn them into high-quality new polyester without losing durability. That means your old gym shorts could one day be reborn as a stylish new jacket. There's also a huge push for better sorting technology. Right now, sorting clothes for recycling is mostly done by hand, which is slow and inefficient. But new AI-powered sorting systems are being developed to quickly scan and identify fabric types using advanced sensors. These machines can sort thousands of garments in minutes, making the recycling process way faster and more accurate. And let's talk about fiber-to-fiber recycling. Instead of just downcycling clothes into insulation or rags, new methods are being designed to turn used fabrics back into high-quality fibers. For example, companies like Worn Again Technologies and RenewCell have created processes to break down cotton into a pulp-like material that can be spun into brand new yarn. That means we're getting closer to a system where your old clothes can become fresh, high-quality garments instead of low-grade materials. Big fashion brands are also joining the fight. Companies like H&M, Adidas, and Patagonia are investing in recycling technology and launching take-back programs where customers can drop off old clothes to be turned into new products. Some brands are even experimenting with biodegradable fabrics made from natural sources, like algae or banana fibers. Imagine wearing a shirt made from seaweed that just dissolves harmlessly when you're done with it. Wild, right? But perhaps the biggest game changer is consumer awareness. More people are waking up to the fact that fast fashion is a problem and looking for ways to shop more sustainably. Secondhand shopping, clothing swaps, and rental fashion services are becoming more popular. And with new innovations making recycling more efficient, we might finally be on track to creating a circular fashion industry where nothing goes to waste. The future of textile recycling is looking bright, but it still needs all the support it can get. The more we push for better recycling methods, the faster these technologies will improve. So if you're excited about the future of fashion and want to support sustainable solutions, you can contribute in your own little way by heading to the comments and mention a textile recycling plant in your area. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you in the next one.